Not sure if I'm live or not yet. That little circle's going around that goes around all the time when you do a Facebook Live. I think I'm on now. Oh, I think I'm on now. Hello. Hello. Just going to have a sip of my tea and see if anyone jumps on 8 p.m. on a Thursday night in Melbourne. I know I'm a little early. Oh, we've got someone here. Going to say hello. Hello, Anya. Hello. I know you. Coming in from the UK. Let's just hope you're well. Just gonna wait a few moments. I was a little early because I get so excited. Anya, can you just let me know that you can hear me okay? Because if not, I can pop a microphone on. It's good to see you too. See your comments, see you virtually. Okay, so I'll take that as you can see me okay. A few other people jumping on. Is anyone going to say hello? Let me know that you can hear me okay. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Anya. It's a little bit of a delay, obviously. Light's not that great in here. Okay, we're at 8 o'clock, 8:01. So let's honour those of you who are here and welcome. Welcome to those of you who are here live. Welcome to those of you who are watching this back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know this group, this beautiful group is worldwide. So hello from wherever you're watching in the world and welcome. And before I begin, of course, a huge heartfelt thank you to Alicia for inviting me along tonight and for creating this amazing platform. How amazing is this group? I use it all the time. Absolutely extraordinary. So thank you so much, Leash. I can see there's some other. Oh, hi, hello, Janine. Hi, Leash. Hi, Simone. Thank you. Thank you all for letting me know that you can hear me. Oh, and I've just seen there's a friend here from school, so I've got some stories to tell. Oh, that's giving me a little bit of a quantum quiver. Okay, so let's just take a breath. I invite you to, whether you're watching this back or whether you're watching live, just close your eyes. I'm going to do it too and take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Let's just slow everything down. I had a client say to me once, when she gets on calls, she thinks, I'm here, I may as well be present, which I loved. What a great saying. So I invite you, whenever you're watching this, you've taken the time to watch, so don't just be here, be present. So beautiful. Okay, let's begin. Quantum theory, quantum leaping. Oh my gosh, it's all so exciting. And it's so big and there's so much and it's so wacky and wild and wonderful. And I've got not a lot of time. So I've been thinking this afternoon about what you need to know and what's going to serve you best. I would like to start with a story. So bring to mind a little girl in about the mid-70s. Some of you will be thinking, mid-70s? I wasn't even thought of in the mid-70s. See how you go. She's about 6 years old and she's at school with her little platform shoes on and her flares and probably a yellow skivvy. and blonde curly hair. And in those days, in the 70s, it was the desks, the wooden desks with the flip top lid, the lid that came up. And the school classroom, or the classroom she's sitting in, is in a tiny school. The classroom's small, the school's small. There's hardly any students in her class, and she's in a really small country town. The teacher is up the front talking about dying and explaining that when we die, we go, if we're good, we go to a place called heaven, and if we're naughty or bad, we go to a place called hell. And this little girl puts her hand up and says she's really looking forward to dying, and she's excited about dying because she really wants to know what happens. And once she finds out, she's going to come back and tell all her friends what happens when you die. And the teacher looks at her with alarm, of course, and says, well, when you die, you die. That's it. Once you're dead, you're dead. You are no more. And the little girl looked her dead in the eye and said, well, that's not true. That's actually not what happens. Of course, that little girl was me. So from a very young age, I had an inner sense or an inner knowing, or which, shall we say, strongly suspected that these theories I was being taught wasn't really true, and that isn't really what happens. I'm not going to go through my whole life, don't worry. But fast forward a few more years, when I was about 9 or 10, we did a project at primary school. I did the supernatural, and I was really excited about it. And I can still remember having all my coloured textures out, my coloured pens, and I made a book, and I can still see it in my mind because I think I held on to it for a really long time because I was so proud of it. And to me, and every page had some kind of different mystical creature or supernatural creature on it. And to me, that was just fun and excitement and interesting and enthralling and not weird at all. And everyone else in the class, because we had to present them, do our little show and tell, did things like their dog or their cat or their holiday or their family or their friends or their bike. Bikes were big. And I didn't, right? So it wasn't before long where you start to feel weird, and you start to feel like you're not normal, and you start to feel like you don't fit in, and that there's something wrong with you. And because of the group this is, and this Facebook group that Leash has created, I strongly suspect that some of you watching this either here or back later on have felt that feeling that you don't really belong, and you have to start to change yourself a little to conform or to fit in. So that was me. Teenage years, I was still dabbling. Now, by then I had tarot cards. I was trying to communicate with the other side. So the interest never really went away. But then you grow into adulthood and you realize there's a way of the world, and you become conditioned, and you, for want of a better word, I just used it before, you conform, and you very quickly work out how society works. Well, the society that I grew up in anyway, I can't speak for you, of course, everyone's experiences are different. But definitely the way the society or the community I lived in worked was that was all rubbish. It was nonsense. Um, I had to put it aside, and I had to get on with being a person who was sensible and got a job and got a good education and did all the right things. Not that there's anything bad with any of those things, but you know what I mean. So it all really fell away. My tarot cards got locked up in a suitcase and put at the top of a wardrobe, but I was traveling through Prague in my 20s and bought a beautiful wooden box for them with a beautiful purple cloth, silk cloth, to put them in when I came home. But really, I was just living one of these lives where I was going along doing everything that I was supposed to be doing and living the life that I was supposed to be living until 2011. And in 2011, my world as I knew it came crashing down in a very big, ugly, dark, horrible, heartbreaking heap. Within weeks, I lost my mother to cancer unexpectedly. It was a 3-week diagnosis. I lost a baby and I lost my relationship. So everything was ripped out from under me. Everything that I thought I knew, everything that I wanted at that time in my life, everything I loved and adored was gone. And this, as these moments so often are, these defining moments, often, I've lost the word, we take stock of our lives. I went back to that moment. I actually went back to that moment and felt that again. So I was forgetting what I said. I needed to start again. I was going through the dark night of the soul. I won't go into what that is. You might already know. And I knew that I needed to come out the other side. And part of the dark night of the soul is when everything you thought you wanted and the person you thought you were is no longer. And I took myself off. I got on a plane and I went to one of the most spiritual hotspots in the world, alone. And I spent quite a few weeks there doing my own work, and a lot of that was around spiritual healing. And part of that work opened the door to me having a transcendental experience. Now, the whole transcendental experiences, I can hardly say the word, transcendental experiences are hard to describe because by their very format, they're transcendental. So often we don't have the language, we don't have the words in our vocabulary to actually describe the experience, to describe what happened to us. But I've been doing my best, and I didn't talk about it for a long time because sometimes you have to be careful who you talk to these about, talk about these things with or to. But now I'm really open about it. And in a nutshell, I became pure consciousness. I was nobody. I wasn't Janelle. I was nothing. I didn't have a body. I was a being of light, energy, consciousness. I felt connected to everything in the universe. I cannot even describe, you may have had your own. I cannot even describe what that was like. Connected to everything, every plant, every animal, every person, every being. We are connected. We are truly connected. It was pure bliss, pure love. I flew around the universe a couple of times. I received messages about me, about people in my life, about my family. One of the big messages I received that I do want to share here is, I don't share all of them, is never ever worry about money. Just do what you love. Do what you love, do what you enjoy. Never ever worry about money. You will always have what you need, right? So I want to pass that on because I think that's an important message. So I had that experience and I came home again, and my very best friend of 50 years from kindergarten picked me up from the airport. And the comment she made when she was driving me home was, "You're you again." And I thought, and I still remember it. And I thought, okay, if I'm me again, I have to actually go back to being me. And I made a deal when I was 6 years old that if I learned what happened, if I was lucky enough to get a glimpse on the other side of the veil, then I would come back and I would share it. So this is what I'm doing now. This is my mission. And so I came home and I threw myself into anything I could. And the whole spectrum, as I said, I know I've got very limited time, the whole spectrum from spirituality to science. I'm clearly a very spiritual person. especially after the experience I just had. But I'm a Capricorn and I'm really practical and I want to know the science behind things as well. And that led me right down the rabbit hole, and I popped out at quantum theory, quantum physics. Now, quantum theory, quantum physics is weird, wacky, wonderful, as I said, complicated, can be tough to explain. A quantum physicist, which I am not, will even tell you that they don't really know what's going on. They don't really understand it. But in a nutshell, science has now measured what spiritual teachers and mentors have been telling us for thousands and thousands of years, that we are all connected, that we are pure consciousness, that we are energy, and we are light, and we emit a frequency. So quantum theory has now measured that. So quantum theory is basically the study of the universe at a subatomic level, tiny, tiny microscopic level. And what these quantum scientists or physicists have found is that, yes, we are, everything in the universe, including us, is 99.9999999% energy, consciousness, light, and frequency. And frequency, all frequency carries information. Okay, that'll be important later. And that the rest of the universe is matter, the hard stuff. Really hard to wrap your head around, right? Really hard to wrap your head around. That a lot of our life is an illusion, and it's all made up in our minds, which brings me into my coaching work, right? The other thing that they realized was, for something to appear, now this is the important part for you, because I've really thought about the parts that are going to help you transform your life if you want to use quantum principles, is the other thing they realized was that particles don't behave, or matter doesn't behave the way we thought it did, which is kind of the apple from the tree, gravity. So think of it as if you had a box of ping pong balls and you tipped it over a stairwell. We would expect, according to gravity and those physics, and gravity exists, of course it does, I'm sitting here on this chair, but we would expect the ping pong balls to very nicely bounce down the stairs, right? And that's what we see. That's probably what we would see if we did it. I'm just giving you an example, right? What they saw in quantum, when they were doing their experiments, that particles, so the equivalent of tipping particles over a stairwell in a box, they didn't just bounce down the stairs like a tennis ball in our reality would. They bounced over there and they bounced back up the stairs, and then they went down, and then they went across. But what they also did was disappeared and reappeared. So the scientists sat back and went, holy shit, like what's happening? What's going on? This is why no one can really understand it. No one really knows how it works, but we don't know how electricity works either, and we use it. Well, I don't. I also don't know how an aeroplane gets off the ground, but I get on one. So, and that's why I'm not really going to go into that too much tonight. We've got limited time, and you don't really need to know how this works. You just really need to know the principles and start to play in the quantum realm. So they realized that a particle does turn into a wave, and that wave is pure consciousness and energy, 99.99999% of everything, including us. And it comes together, it all lives in what they've called or named a quantum realm or a quantum soup. Okay. We, as vibrational beings, and remember, energy emits information and a frequency. We vibrate in and out of this quantum realm multiple times per minute. Multiple, in and out, in and out. So we're constantly going into this world of possibility and probability, which is quantum theory. Quantum theory is the theory of probability and possibility. I'm doing the best I can here with this, explaining this. So I hope I'm making sense. Someone give me a thumbs up or something. So what they discovered was when they turned their backs, the particle, the bit of matter, became a wave, energy, frequency, consciousness. When they turned back, the particle appeared. So the other thing they discovered is that for a particle to appear, for it to transform or transmute, I'm not sure of the correct word, I'm not a scientist, from waves into matter, it needed an observer. Okay. So let's circle around back here to where we are today, because how does this, okay, it's all very clever, Janelle. How does this affect me and my life? Well, that's what the physicists thought. The scientists thought, how does this affect us and our lives? If this is what's happening on a microscopic, subatomic level, but it is how the whole universe works and what it's made of, how is this unfolding in our lives, in our day-to-day existence? Something appears when it's observed. Now, a spiritualist will often tell you you attract what you think about. Okay, well, now they're measuring it. How exciting! They can measure it. You attract what you think about. You attract what you focus on appears. You're vibrating in and out of the realm of all possibility and all potentiality. So, what are you picking up while you're in there? What are you creating as real, turning into matter in your world? So we're doing this by consciousness. So we're doing this by our thoughts. Thoughts are consciousness. So if you've worked with me, if you're a client of mine, you will have heard me say this before, your words are your world. Everything you tell yourself and other people will come true every time, guaranteed, because you will make it so. And now a quantum physicist over there, not just over there, like somewhere, is saying, actually, we're measuring that now. And we're thinking that's how it works. And it can also pop up anywhere. This, now let's talk about quantum leaping. Because it's not quantum stepping, it's quantum leaping. My clients and I play and play and play in this field, play in this realm, and I've had extraordinary results. They've had extraordinary results. One of the things I want you to know about me, if you've never met me, is I don't talk about anything that I have not tried myself and it's worked, and then haven't played with my clients and it's worked. So I'm not all about theory, I'm about practice and results. This works. In fact, my clients have a hashtag, which is this shit works, right? That they post in all our private groups. So come back, Janelle. I got excited for a moment. A quantum leap is not an incremental step. So we are taught from a very young age to play it safe almost, to take the very obvious logical steps. Do this, then do this, then do this. This is called increment. I don't know whether I'm doing this right. Incremental growth. Take this step, then take this step, then take this step. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 will get you there. There's nothing wrong with that. Plenty of people have built great lives that way. It's just a little bit slower. Okay, because you're doing that on this physical plane, which has time, and everything here takes time. In the quantum realm, there's no time because there's nothing there. So there's nothing, we measure time by how long it'll take me to get from here to there. Well, there's nothing to measure in the quantum realm, just consciousness, energy, frequency, and light. So there's no time. So things are faster. So a quantum leap is an exponential step. And I describe it as a quantum leap is a small, effortless step, usually graceful, that creates and a huge impact. I was going to say exponential impact. A small, effortless step that creates a huge impact. You're timesing your efficiency, not plussing. It's not 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. It's not, I'll take this step and then I take one step. It's, I'll take this step and it's going to impact me 10 times. That is a quantum leap. A small, effortless step that creates a huge impact. Now, there's some principles around quantum leaping, and I don't have time. See, this is the beauty, right? You don't need to know how it works. We don't need to know the theory. All of you watching this are really smart, intelligent, accomplished women. You know, theory doesn't create results. Theory creates learning and knowledge, but it's implementing the theory. It's taking action that creates change, transformation, and results, right? So I just want to give you some principles of quantum leaping. If you want to know more about how it works, then I have loads of material on that. My beautiful VA, Danica, has created a book that we're going to give you for free for you. We created it just for you, just for this presentation, if you want to learn more. And there's also lots out there on the interwebby. But let me give you some principles. So how do we take a quantum leap? The first thing is focus, your vision. Because remember, we found out that the particles collapse into waves until they're observed. When the observer turns their back, they collapse into waves. When the observer turns back and looks at a certain point in the experiment, that's where the particle appears. So what are you focused on? If your reality appears from what you're focused on, which is what you're thinking about and talking about, what are you focused on? Are you focused on lack? Are you focused on things you don't have? Are you focused on fears? I've lived in fear for a really long time, decades, made a lot of decisions around fear, just didn't know it at the time. So the first thing is to get really crystal clear on what it is you want to bring into your life, or what it is you want to create in your life, or what it is you want to appear in your life. Crystal clear. And stay in that vision. Stay in that vision. Stay focused on it all day, every day. And hopefully it's that exciting that it raises your vibration. You feel really excited about it, right? So now you're vibrating in and out of the quantum realm multiple times a minute. I think it's multiple times a second, actually. Your vibration's high because you're really excited about this thing. And your gratitude is high because that's another principle, is believing your success is for certain. You already have it. And you pick it up from the realm or the soup and you bring it out. And this is how things take much less time than the incremental steps. Okay, so I'll tell you something else that the quantum physicists found out or discovered is these crafty little, wacky little, funny little, weird little particles also would do really weird shit. Like they would split a particle. This is an awesome experiment. They split a particle. It's the same thing. They sent half of it, no joke, to one side of the earth and the other half to the other side of the earth. They opened one and somehow changed its colour. And then they called old matey over the other side of the world and said, can you open that little box up and look at the particle? It should be green. We've just made ours red. Tell me what colour yours is. And they opened it up and holy shit, it's red. So particles talk, information, your frequency, your consciousness. We're all connected. Everything's connected, is constantly sending information back and forth. So this is how things can happen at a faster rate than these incremental play it safe steps. So let's talk about playing it safe. So you've got your vision, you know what you want to focus on. The other principle of quantum leaping, and I've termed this quantum quiver, you must feel the quantum quiver. It must scare you. It must feel illogical. This is the other thing. Remember, these wacky particles aren't bouncing down the stairs, which is logical. They're pium, 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 all over the place. They're not logical. No one can work them out. What are they doing? When I turn my back, they disappear. When I look back, they're there. What are they doing? They're playing with our minds, right? So to take a quantum leap takes courage. It's usually really illogical. And people around you will be telling you you're mad and you're crazy and what are you doing? But after you've taken it, so you must feel the quantum quiver, and I'll get to that in a minute. After you've taken it, it often seems like it was really logical. I don't know, have you had those moments? Why didn't I do that earlier? Why didn't I do that before? That wasn't as frightening as I thought it was going to be. So the quantum quiver is when you feel some fear and we feel it, we get messages in our mind for a start. I won't go into that. That's the messages that come from your belief systems is a whole other presentation. We don't have time for that tonight. But we also feel it in our bodies. We feel those tingles, the butterflies. We might feel a little bit nauseous. That is a quantum quiver. That is often an indication. So I use that as an indication that this is to step forward, not backward. This means I have to do this. And Leash knows I joined something really recently because it appeared in my inbox, the invitation, and I thought, and I felt the quantum quiver, and I thought, oh, that really frightens me. Quick, join and pay before your mind gets involved and you change your mind. Talks you out of it. So that's an indicator for me to move in that direction, not to pull back. That's the quantum quiver. And then afterward, and that's your cells rearranging. That's all your cells in your body going, everyone, she's about to change. There's transformation about to happen. Get ready. Your cells can't stay the same. Their vibration has to change. You're transforming. You're doing something new, different, bigger, brighter than you ever have before. You're going to change. So your cells have woken up. Change is imminent. Everyone, get ready. And then you leap, you land at the spot you were focused on, because we don't switch our focus. There's a really good exercise around leaping to a spot and not changing your focus, which if you download the ebook, I'm pretty sure is in the ebook. We probably don't have time for that today. It's really quick and easy though and fun. And then we land and we still might have a little bit of that quantum quiver, and then everything has to settle. Everything has to settle. That's the quantum quiver. If you don't feel afraid, if it doesn't take courage, it's not a quantum leap. It's an incremental step. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with those. I take those as well. They're not going to create a huge impact like a quantum leap. So that's another principle. So what have we got? What are you focused on? Get a clear vision of what you want to create in your life and make it so bloody exciting. Sky's the limit. Everything's in the quantum realm. Anything and everything you've ever wanted to experience in your life. And I talk about experiences with my clients. We don't really talk about having shit. We talk about experiences. What do you want to experience? And if you want to experience owning your own private plane, fine, cool. It's in the quantum soup. Go for it. But we talk about experiences. What do you want to experience? Everything you want to experience is in there because everything is connected. And we know these particles will just appear like that, out of nowhere. And I've had this happen with clients. I've had this happen with myself. Things you would never have imagined have just appeared out of nowhere. seemingly nowhere. That's another thing. Watch for synchronicities. No such thing as coincidences, only synchronicities. So you've got to watch out for those. Another principle is, I'm not going to give them all to you. I'm very conscious that I'm nearly out of time. Another principle is we leap before we think we're ready. That's part of the courage. We leap before we think we're ready. If there's no courage, if there's no quantum quiver, it's not a quantum leap. You leap before you're ready. And how often have you done that in your life and thought, wow, I really didn't think that I was ready for that. And I nailed it. Maybe you didn't even nail it. Maybe you bungled through it. But you did it, right? And you changed, you transformed as a result, and it'll be easier next time. This is when gifts and skills and strengths unfold and emerge, when we do something new, different, big, bold. So we leap before we're ready. And I'm going to leave you one more principle. There's a whole lot more. Download the ebook if you want them all. Is we must act as though our success is certain. We must act as though we already have it. And this is one of, I think, and my clients agree, one of the toughest principles of quantum leaping. What? How am I supposed to walk around and act like I already have this love of my life when I've been single for so many years? How am I supposed to walk around and act like my business is oversubscribed and I'm serving, I don't know, 1,000 people a year when I'm only setting up and I cannot even see where my next client's going to come from. How can I walk around as if I'm well when I feel so ill? It's part, I have a head cold, so that's really pertinent to me at the moment. Head colds, right? How 2019? Who gets head colds anymore? Ridiculous. So we act as if our success is certain. We act as if we have it already, and we act grateful for it. We give gratitude. And when we act, when we have gratitude, we have love for our lives, we vibrate at a high level, and that vibration's going in and out of the quantum realm. And when you are grateful, and there's something I can tell you about the universe, and this isn't even anything to do with quantum leaping, the more you're grateful, the more you'll be sent to be grateful for. The more you are grateful, the more you'll be sent to be grateful for. So if you start one thing, it's gratitude. So I'm going to wind this up. Oh, before I do, you won't believe this. Oh my gosh, you won't believe this. A beautiful client sent me all the way from Canada postcards from spirit. How beautiful. How beautiful is this? I'm getting to a point. And every morning I've been picking one out. And you ask questions and you pick one out. And my question was, what do I need to know today? Look what it is. You can't see it, I know. It's about leaping. So I'm going to read, I won't read it all, but I want to read this part. All the elements are in place and your soul is ready for a new experience. No matter what you're asking about, it's time to take the risk and do the thing that scares you. No matter what happens, you will land softly, right on target. Don't worry about the outcome. Spirit's got that covered. It's taking the leap itself that's the point. We love your courage. Embrace it. No such thing as coincidences. That's what I pulled out this morning. And I thought, oh, Penny says I have those cards. How beautiful are they? So how amazing that is what I pulled out. And I thought I have to read. I would have loved to have read all of it out to you. But anyway, I just wanted to read that bit. The point is, couldn't have said it better myself, right? The point is, take the leap. The leap is the point. You can't fear failure. There's no such thing as failure anyway. But again, that's a whole other presentation. I'm going to wind it up. I'm at 40 minutes. I am going to post a link not in the comments, but somewhere in here. As I said, we have beautiful Danica and I have created an ebook for you. It's called How to Take a Quantum Leap. It's going to go a little bit more into my story, a little bit more into quantum theory, only a little bit more. You don't really need to understand it. The scientists don't even understand it. So what hope have we got? But more importantly, it has all the principles that I know so far. I think there's about 13. So you can look at all the principles, and we've actually turned it into a little bit of a workbook. So you can make some notes, you can start leaping. So I'm going to put that link in for you. And I don't mind if you're watching this back. It's the 6th of May. I don't care if you're watching this back in June, July, August. The book will be there for you. Download it. Please, I invite you to. And the other thing that's really, 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 really exciting is next month, June, I'm launching a free Prepare to Leap. It's going to be a little 5-day play where we're going to actually start you taking some leaps, and I will be there to help you along the way. Not very time extensive. It'll probably just be a 5 or 10 minute video every morning for 5 days, and then a little task for the day, because I know we all have busy lives, right? So I'll sit here for a sec while I leash, in case anyone has a question. I'm going to read some comments. Penny says, I love the name Quantum Quiver. I'm very proud of it. I have done a Google to see if somebody else is using it, and I haven't found it yet. So, but it's yours to be used. I didn't mean I was going to paint in it or anything. I love sharing. I don't close off anything. If it's going to help someone, use it. Please do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching me and staying right until the end. It's been so much fun. Feel free to come over and friend me on Facebook. Love that. I guess my name will come up. You'll just be able to click on me, send me a friend request. Woohoo! Thank you again, Leash. So blessed. Thank you all again. If you've seen me present or speak before, you'll know that I'm very humbled when people come and watch me or spend time with me in any capacity. Time is our only non-renewable resource, the only resource we can never get back again. And when someone chooses to share their time with me, I am so, so, so grateful. So thank you so much. I had heaps of fun sharing my time with you. I'm going to sit here. I can see people are starting to jump off. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your evening or your day. And I'll just sit here until I see no one else is here, just in case someone has a question. Thanks so much for coming, Penny. Thanks, Simone. You're welcome. Thanks, Neen. We have to have that catch up that we didn't have in 2020 when we all went into lockdown. Thanks so much for coming and playing. Oh, thank you, Leash. Thank you. Back at ya. You're amazing. Thank you for having me. Oh, thank you, Amy. Thank you. Only came in at the end, does that mean? Okay, there's 4, 3. Don't think there's any questions coming through, so I think I will jump out. Okay, I'm going to jump out. If you're re-watching this, um, feel free to post any questions in or comments and tag me, and I'll see it and I'll be able to come back to you. Thank you so much. I love you so much, and thank you for playing. Bye.